Gotta show him I can still rap though. Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says the chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma make, keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got a buck for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if he won't take a lazy day. Wifey want me, told me take a break. I keep going to the paper straight. Then it's trips out to Montego Bay. If I take the job, bet I get it done. I said it before, I'm a 101. I just caught some ones, only wearing ones. Fornicate the funds, money made me calm. Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock it tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch? Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, or you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, or you matter what. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault. I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, or you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, or you matter what. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Gotta show him I can still rap though. Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says the chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma make, keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got a buck for all those rainy days.
The voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to Next Podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.
Wow. That was really way
Carol
too close.
Baskin killed her husband, whacked her. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Venom, the tigers, they snapped. What's happening? Carol Baskin.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go.
Yo, what is going on, people? We
You
are
fake
live.
news.
Another episode of the next podcast. And if you thought that was crazy how it started, you should have heard before I hit go live on OBS. Yo, what is up, chat? It is good to see you guys. We have a lot to talk about, and I have a lot of questions tonight that I hope my panel can answer, because there are things going on. There are features supposedly coming to consoles that at one point in time people said, it doesn't really mean anything because not too many people have TVs with that functionality, but now they're so excited about it. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff. So let's get right into it, and let's get into the intro. So I'm gonna start in the Lone Star State. That is right. We have our very own OnlyFans superstar on this panel here for you every Thursday. It is Predator. What is up, bro?
That's right, man. Top 3%. Holla at your boy. Nothing much, man. Just got some topics. I gotta cut out here earlier. See, that's not the OnlyFans. That's the Pornhub, and that's not. I'm no longer affiliated with Pornhub. I've broken away from them.
They don't pay enough.
So I'm doing the solo OnlyFans thing now.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Everything's right over here. Yeah. So let's get this topic.
Yeah, let's go. I gotta get some of your opinions before you gotta take off, bro. That's what's gotta happen. So next on the list, we are going all the way back here to the East Coast, aka the Beast Coast. He is the inventor, dare I say the creator of hashtag Crispy Truth, and he will always give you his opinion. It is Crispy Bomb. What is up, bro?
What's up, bot? You ever walk into work and be like, after one day off, and you go and say, what the fuck happened? Well, guess what? I had that today, but it's great to be here with my brothers. And yes, we are going to get in some serious topics. No, I think not. We're going to turn it into just, Pred telling me to shut the fuck up, but that's fine.
That's gonna be the whole theme for the entire show tonight, man. You got be prepared.
Salute, sir. Nice.
And next on the list, the newly kind of like knighted Elden Ring addict, because he has been playing this game absolutely nonstop. He is coming live from the 405. That is right. It is K Mega. What is up, bro?
2 bosses left till the end game. I'm ready. I just right before you hit play, I just beat the Beast Clergy, whatever the hell. He turned into some black cat with all types of hack and slash ninja skills. I took care of him. Now I got 2 more. Now to be Elden Lord. And after that, I'm probably going to delete the hell out of this game. I mean, uninstall it immediately.
But you're gonna have fond memories, right? Is what's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm gonna have some. No, this is a great game. There's no question about it. But I have to say this quickly. After fighting that damn Scarlet Rock chick, the optional boss, Melina, I think her name is. She questioned my gaming, man. She beat me so many times and so badly. She questioned my gaming. But I finally got her ass. It took me 3 days to beat her. That's how bad that was. And that's how hungry I was to beat her. I was questioning my gaming hood.
Dude, you beat her and you started shooting off fireworks. It was the middle of the night.
Man, I ran and woke up my wife at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, if I just beat that, man, I was so excited, man. I couldn't tell you, but anyway, well, let's get started, man. Let's go.
Nice. Yo, shout out to my brother, Sir X-Man, hitting up that super chat early, showing everybody that the super chat does indeed work. He says, did you get to see the Halo series? It is the joint. I was not expecting it to be that good. Now I give it a perfect 10, bro.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Don't believe the hate out there.
I'm gonna check it out tomorrow.
Hold on. There's hate. There's hate for Halo content out there? Nah, bro. Nah, come on, man. Yo, shout out to Dragonheart Yobi. Has been a member for 4 months here. He says hashtag peace, love, life. You guys know him. You guys know him in the community. We know him here. He is he is that rival in fighting for K Mega as well, right? He's always there for fight night.
Oh yeah,
huh, bro.
Pretty much, yeah. When he can, no doubt. Didn't have no fight night last week, but I got caught up in trying to beat Melina, and then I was like, no, there ain't no fight night. I got to beat this chick. So I didn't beat her until yesterday, until Monday. What was it, Tuesday? I think I beat her Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Friday.
It was 3 days, so I started.
See, this is what Elden Ring does to you, bro. This is
right, man, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like it's consumed me. I'm done. I'm done after I'm done with this game.
He's like, what day is it? What day is it again?
Super Dunskies.
Yes.
All right, guys. Let's get into it. And I'm gonna start with what we were talking about a little bit, off air, because it's strange to me. And like I said, I have questions. Now, AMD recently came out and they announced kind of like their next iteration in something called FSR. It's Fidelity FX Super Resolution. And for people who don't know, it's basically an upscaling technique that you use, with AMD hardware. So the whole point of it is to give developers more room for more performance while the game that they're working on is still registering at like 4K. They did come out with a 1.0 version. Like I said, this is 2.0. This is the second version of this. And with the 1.0 version, there were games that were made for pretty much both consoles and PC. Now, the weird thing here is AMD came out and announced this. Now, check this out. They said, we're announcing that Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0 will be fully supported on Xbox and will be available in the Xbox Game Developer Kit for registered developers in their upcoming games. Not only that, they said that it's coming to PC. And I find this weird because the first version, again, was on both consoles. PS5 used it, even up to Forspoken. Forspoken uses Fidelity FX Super Resolution, FSR, 1.0 in their game development. The only thing is, this 2.0, there has been no talk about PS5 at all from AMD. I checked. I wanted to see, because to me it was awkward that games were being made on with 1.0 on PS5, but when it comes to 2.0, and they said fully supported on Xbox, and in the Xbox Game Development Kit. You know what? I'm gonna ask K Mega first. K Mega, am I reading too much into this, or do you find it strange that this kind of like solution, this detailed kind of like upscaling, that it's definitely, it's one of those kind of like top tier upscalers to help with the performance of the game. You get those FPSs, you get room to put in ray tracing on games and stuff like that when you're doing this, and you're not sacrificing kind of like the overall resolution. Is it awkward to you that there is no talk about PS5 for this next iteration, this 2.0, when PS5 was, games were made with the 1.0? Or am I just looking too deep into this, man?
I mean, I think it's a little too deep, but then also you gotta listen to what the rumors has been going around with gaming here for the last couple of months. Xbox has been stating that what they were going to do with their console was going to be completely upgradable within itself to where they don't need to have a mid refresh console this generation. So they've already kind of established that already. Sony, on the other hand, we just heard, I think this was just last week that we heard that they could be making a mid refresh PlayStation 5.
We're talking about that tonight too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Did you actually look at the topics tonight?
No, I did not.
But how'd you know?
But
how'd you know?
Well,
I think I was the only one, but
yeah, because I know how things flow. But regardless, it's okay. But I'm not gonna get into deep detail about it. But I'm just saying that's one of those situations that I think that it's possible that PlayStation will get it later on. Just like now, the information that we got today about what PlayStation is getting also kind of indicates, like they're late to the party on a lot of things. And so to me, it's clear that the and there's some that will still try to tell you that the performance levels is not that far off when it comes to the PS5 into the Series X, but it's clear that the Series X is a much more capable console right at launch compared to what the PlayStation 5 is getting this stuff. And then I don't know if their relationship with AMD, I'm sure that it's solid, but it's clear that the relationship between AMD and Xbox is better than it's ever been. Even going back to when you thought about when they disrespected AMD and went with Intel with the OG Xbox, so yeah, I thought that was crazy when I watched that documentary and how they did AMD on stage live. But yeah, no, it's clear that like those rumors could be true that Sony could be making a mid refresh, and then that this second version of VR will come over. But for them not to announce it now is kind of puzzling. So yeah, no, I'm definitely I say pump the brakes and say like, well, it's not a nothing burger, but it is something that some people should be just looking at as like, oh, wonder what's happening here in the gaming space.
Well, K-Mega, it's awkward because according to the numbers, right? According to the numbers, when it comes to these systems out there are more PS5s out there. So if you have this feature that you're touting with your hardware and you're announcing the platforms that it's on, showing excitement, getting people hyped up and stuff like that, why are you leaving one of those platforms out if it's going to be on that?
That's why I'm saying, like, maybe from what hearing, what we're going to be talking about here later on is it might be true. Because I mean, look, we knew beforehand. It did come. The information came later about PlayStation 5 having the VR, but we knew that it was coming. And this, I don't know. We just got to find out more information because it is puzzling. That to me is like I just can't see PlayStation not having that. Now, also, there's another thing too. Quickly that I just remembered is that I believe that the Sony TVs was kind of behind on certain features as well, and so those things been implemented into those Sony televisions. And so I think that's when they started rolling out the update now for that. And I know some people's like, well, how that's got to do with anything? Well, I mean, if people buy Sony, and Sony televisions are really good televisions. Don't get it twisted. They're expensive, but they're really good televisions. So for them not to have that technology at first on these newer televisions, and they had to implement them later on, then that could also kind of be everything that Sony is just kind of behind on something. But I don't think that I just can't think that Sony not having this new feature going forward, that would be an ultimate fail. So,
well, you remember the whole RDNA 2 situation, and with these systems and stuff. Not for anything, but with AMD not announcing PlayStation 5 as well with this, doesn't it kind of bring back the questioning of how much full RDNA 2 is literally under the hood of the PlayStation?
Oh no, you're absolutely right. That I mean, remember that was the big discussion about RDNA, this and that, how underpowered, because when people were bringing up the fact that the PlayStation 5 was underpowered, and then it had to give itself the boost in order to just do what it could in order to make these games look and play better. That's and that's when we was questioning that last year. I believe it was last year or the year before last, somewhere a year and a half ago, where we were questioning like, how long are these PlayStation 5s going to last? If you got them damn things up, just rev going balls to the wall at maximum capacity at this whole time, then that's going to add more wear and tear on that on these internal parts on those PlayStation 5s eventually. When you got them, cranked up like you do. So that's why it also makes sense that these rumors coming out about another additional PlayStation, a mid-refresh PlayStation could happen to where they don't have to have it to be cranked up the way that they are. And listen, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of unknowns in this factor, but it is odd from what you're talking about. So no, you're hitting on a lot of points that's solid.
Yeah, people I know people out there that are going to be, shout out to Cork in the chat. Quirk, I am not going to just automatically assume this. Like when you're talking about businesses and marketing their hardware, marketing their features, they would announce all of their platforms. Now, one of the things that that is a possibility, because I know PlayStation came out kind of like with their own upscaling technique as well with the PS5. That might have pissed off AMD. They're like, you know what? We're not going to give you that shine right now. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to put your name in on this. Like we're gonna have the PC platform, Xbox platform, and we're gonna let them shine because you decided that what we were doing wasn't good enough. But that's a little petty for business. But what up, Crispy? What do you got to say, bro?
What do I have to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's like it's fun to go.
Okay,
you always go there. You always go there. You had great points, but then you forgot about this. Forgot about PlayStation 5 is not using RDNA 2. A lot of people think it is. That's fine. There's a reason why they went, oh, SSD is the greatest thing in the world. There's a reason for that. Okay? Everybody's going to ignore it now. But down the road, you're going to realize when that PS5 Pro comes out or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Damn, you guys really want to talk about this Pro. I can tell you guys want to talk about this.
You know what? They've already said it. They've said it actually multiple times. Actually, I've seen these articles come out like 6 months ago, by the way. You remember when they changed the chips and stuff like that? Yeah, there's something going on with that console that they don't like. Okay, and AMD is really just a PC part. Okay, and both companies decided, hey, we're going with this. But Xbox took the L at that time and said, oh, we're going to sit here and wait for your RDNA 2 chipset. Okay, so they waited for it. PlayStation didn't wait. Maybe there's some algorithms and stuff that are similar.
There's at least some features of RDNA 2 that are in the PS5.
But how many times do I see a game that's even multi-plat, okay? And after like the first throw out, they're like, well, it runs better on PlayStation and this and that. And I say, yeah, you wait and watch. Then they throw out the update and it runs worse on PlayStation. And they're modifying the game to play on Xbox. But everybody ignores the fact that Xbox is actually cool with having their games on PC. A lot of people don't realize that. They go and say, oh, PlayStation's releasing games on PC. But no, a lot of Xbox games are coming day and date or when they have a PC patch. That's why you have PC Game Pass. But not only that, they're releasing this stuff on Steam. Okay? And AMD wants those people, those PC players to see what they're capable of. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a product. You're trying to sell that product. So why not go with Xbox, who says, you know what? If Halo runs better on PC than Xbox, Series X even though it's like, I mean, if you're not playing on Series X, you don't understand. You know what I mean? And it's hard to find right now. I'm not sitting
is that
here
a jab
trying
at
to,
me, Crispy, because I got a Series S? Is that what you're doing? You're taking shots at Xbox because I don't have a Series
guess
X?
what?
Bro?
Guess what? That CPU is still RDNA 2, bro.
Yeah, full RDNA 2, by the way. Full.
Yes, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like that 300 to 500, that's $200 difference. A lot of people don't realize that. $200, okay? Difference between the high end and the low end, and they both play games amazingly. And as they're optimized, because you have to deal with the company you're making the game for. So, Xbox is termed like PlayStation's like, oh, it's so easy, this and that. And it's so easy at the beginning, but then all of a sudden it's like it's hard to have all of these little like variable refresh rate and all this stuff that is supposed to be in the box the way you feel. And then you have this great controller that if you have the PS4 version, you can't. It's a bunch of hoopla, okay?
Hoopla.
We want you to make as much money as you can as a human being and then give it to us because it is what we want. Okay. And we've seen this. You've heard nothing. Gran Turismo, one of the worst rated games user score in history. And Metacritic has not stricken down the majority of what people have said about this game. Because it's damn true. And they're trying to figure out, how do we make a games as a service? Let's use Gran Turismo, for example. The problem is your fan base is using that and saying, okay, I understand that you want to make more money, but you're still charging me $70, and you're going to sit here and look at Xbox and be like, oh, well, that $15 a month doesn't mean something, because how long are you going to play Gran Turismo? Really?
Oh, me,
I mean,
I
think
would,
about it.
A quality like racing simulation game. I will rock out with that. Yo, K Mega knows, man. He's been with me long enough. He knows that when it comes to these racing games.
So
I'll kill it, bro.
I mean, I get it. I kill it, but are you buying the PlayStation 5? Or are you trying to because of that?
No. Well, first off, I gotta shout out to the Don on this one. I gotta shout out to the Don on this one. He said this years ago, and it kind of stuck with me. And now, like, I feel like it's a rule I live by. Don says that he will not buy a new console unless there's at least 3 games that are making him want that console. And after I heard that, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? You're right, man. 3 games. It could be 3 different genres. Get you a bunch of replayabilities. Like, otherwise, the console is not worth it. And I agree with him wholeheartedly on that. So
and Don is a complete and total different gamer than I would ever be. Okay, I am multiplayer first by all means. Okay, so you're gonna tell me I could play? Oh, let's throw the trash out there. Battlefield 2042. I could play it on PlayStation. I could play it on Xbox. Hey, I've seen people say that it runs better on PlayStation. I don't care. The game is trash. Okay, all right. That's the point. All right, regardless of what's in front of me, because I know software side, Microsoft has it in spades. There's no denying that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this one game that is supposed it looked terrible when you started out playing on the Series X. All of a sudden, it turns into this amazing thing because it looks better and you paid nothing for it. Okay, so hate me for saying I refuse to pay for something that I used to love, and you're trashing it in front of my eyes, like Gran Turismo. I probably have more Gran Turismo time than you have ever had.
Who,
Okay,
me?
I had like 1,000 hours.
I wish the consoles collected those stats from that beginning.
They didn't.
I would question that. I would question that, bro. At one point,
I had every
that's all
single car in the freaking game, dude. Every single car. I would use the Escudo and do what they took away from people and say, okay, I'm gonna race this one single race, and I get like 250,000 credits from this one. It would be an endurance race or something. They got rid of endurance races. Technically.
How do we get on Gran Turismo?
It's a crispy bomb situation, man.
It's
That's
a crispy
what's going on.
thing.
Bombs are dropping right now. Bombs are dropping.
Well, let's be honest, okay? So you go and look at Halo, for example. I think we ran it all through the mud, right? I think every single one of us did.
I'm not happy with what 343
but
is
technically,
doing right now with Halo.
Technically, let's be honest, okay? It's a free to play. You didn't pay $70 for it, did you?
No.
If you wanted to play,
that's why I said that it was going to get the pass because of the fact that it is a free to play.
Well, I mean, we gave Fortnite the pass, and all of a sudden, everybody's like, enamored.
Fortnite didn't get the pass because nobody didn't buy it until they
literally got the pass. People
but it got the
it
pass
up at first. Like they passed it up. That's
it got the pass, dude. It became free to play, and people all of a sudden were like, "Wow, this is actually cool." Even though I don't like the building, which guess what? They changed the whole game. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, somebody told me today that they I guess they got a mode that's taking away the building. So
that's cool. And I might actually play it now, to be honest. It's one of those things like, you have your parameters as a gamer, but at the end of the day, these companies, they look at them and they say, okay, well, I could go with Xbox and kind of push that, and then also touch PC, where Sony right now is in a, they're trying, but at the end of the day, they haven't put their whole foot forward and saying, we're going to do this, even though their games have been successful on PC. I'm just saying it's a little weird that, AMD was so forthright in saying like Xbox PC and having no inkling of saying PlayStation 5. And this is not like Epic as well. Think about it.
That is, to me, that's the whole thing. And there are people out there, people out there on social media, they start sharing pictures and articles, and I'm like, that's from July 2021. That's version 1.0. I was like, do you guys have anything about 2.0? And I really wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out there trying to troll or anything like that. Shout out to Christopher Hart. He was putting out all sorts of tweets, and I'm like, is it 2.0? He's like, yeah, right there. And he has it circled. And the whole thing was about 1.0. And there has been nothing out there about version 2.0, which to me is funny because AMD came out and said fully implemented on Xbox, right? They choose their words very carefully when they put this stuff out. Fully implemented on Xbox, even a part of the game developers kit, the GDK, right? and they talk about PC, and then they leave PlayStation out. Freaking Predator. What do you think about this, man? I don't know. You know, I get into this stuff. I get into like what's under the hood and what's going on and what kind of features are they updating and all that good stuff. Dude, do you think this is a little odd here and what you're hearing me say, or is this like, am I looking too deep into it right now? I don't think I am though.
I would just say, like, you got to keep in mind sometimes these features are readily available on one product before they are on another. So, like, it may come on Xbox first, before it comes to PlayStation 5. That's what I'm looking at, because I don't really see a world where they would just completely. I mean, look at every other feature that we've ever had on Xbox. It eventually comes to PlayStation, right? Like everything, it eventually gets there. Now, maybe it takes a while. Maybe there's some other issues going on with the system itself where they can't do it at launch. That they launch with the PC and Xbox, but it eventually will come. So, I mean, could you play devil's advocate and say, why didn't they say coming to PlayStation 5 at a later date? You could put that one out there. You could put whatever conspiracy theory you want out there.
Dude, but you would
until
think you would think that they would announce. You know what I'm saying here, though, with a feature like that, you would think that they would announce everything it's going to be.
Maybe they did not announce it because it's not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I'm guessing it's just not ready. Like the machine, the PlayStation 5 may not be capable of doing it right now. They have to kind of dumb it down like they did with RDNA, and dumb it down a little bit and take some of the features out of it. I don't know. I mean, I just, looking on the surface, it looks a little awkward that they wouldn't mention it. But again, it may not be a feature that's ready for the system right now, and that will kind of tie into some of the other stuff about them having another PlayStation 5 coming out, which would make sense. So, like, if it look at it this way, like Deathloop is supposedly running this, right?
Yes. 1.0.
So,
no, 1.0.
Are you sure it's 1.0?
I believe that, yeah, because
I was just looking at a video. Like,
maybe they used it to demonstrate 2.0.
It was, yeah, they didn't. They might have. I'm looking at it right now. It came out 12 hours ago. AMD details Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0, and they're using Deathloop as their, and that's on Tom's hardware. They're using Deathloop.
Well, that could be the PC version.
That is true. That is true.
That was my next thing I was going to say. But
I don't see what it's running on.
I was letting you finish before I was like, hey, is it PC?
But again, Deathloop is a console typically. Well, I mean, it's on PC too, but like it's made basically for consoles, right? So, because Sony was marketing it, so like, so you would think that if they were able to do this, they would have put it on PlayStation because they were marketing the game prior to Microsoft taking ownership of the company. So, I honestly, this is just my own personal opinion. I have no basis to this comment that I'm about to make right now. I think there is something wrong with that fucking system. There's always been something wrong with the PlayStation 5, and they've covered it up this long. And the fact that no one can get one has helped them cover the shit up. Like, so that's just my own conspiracy theory. I think there's something fucked up with the system that they're not talking about. Whether there's capabilities or there's all, because it seems like there's always been talk about something being wrong with the system from the start of its development system. Like when they came out the first, like even like when they launched, it was fucked up. Like they
didn't even talk about it. Remember?
They didn't talk about it. So here it is. Like you think they'd been proud of this shit. Like it's like, the super large heat sink, the fucking the it took them a year to get the fucking external storage fixed. Like there's something fucked up with it, and they don't want to talk about it. And some of these features that they might have wanted at launch didn't make it to the system because it probably would have fucking exploded. So, and this may be one of them. So, that's just my own personal opinion. I don't have a lot of facts to back that up, but something like this, which is, I think this is GPU heavy, may not coincide with the way the system was built, and it may be fucking it up and causing problems. So maybe they're, it's probably in AMD's best decision to delay the launch of this on PlayStation 5, but the Xbox is fully capable of actually running it the way it's supposed to be run. That's just my opinion. Like, so not seeing it on there may just be them saying, "Hey, it's not ready yet." It's probably going to come at some point, and maybe it's a dumbed down, 1.5 version of VR, but like the fidelity. I mean, but like I think there's something up with it where it just isn't running properly on the system, and that's the gist of it. I don't think it's like they're trying to hide anything. It's just not ready.
Yeah, again, like I said, it just brings up those RDNA 2 questions again. For me, I'm not saying that the system's not going to have this feature, but when you go through and look at it thoroughly, you're looking at all the articles, you're looking at the announcements and stuff, and the one platform that you don't see in there, and AMD hardware is in the PlayStation. It's like, well, what's going on here? How come they're just not saying that? And by the way, just to let you guys know, that computer screen right there, that is Crispy Bomb's computer screen, and I was cleaning it out from all the pop-up ads. Yeah. I figure I'd record that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Good job, Crispy. Good job, Crispy. That is, I mean, you like that animated stuff, don't you?
You got problems there. I'm just saying.
But guys, you guys want to talk about it? Let's talk about it, because Red Gaming Tech came out with a video, and this video it definitely caught eyes of journalists out there. Basically talking about the next iteration of PlayStation 5. You could call it PlayStation 5 Pro. That's what I'm going to call it. Just for shits and giggles, easy reference or whatnot. But now I'm going to read some of this. According to this rumor from Red Gaming Tech, the new iteration of the PlayStation 5 console will become available by the end of 2023 or sometime in 2024. It brings a 2 times performance in standard raster, a 2.5 times performance boost in ray tracing over the vanilla version, and will be designed to provide a better experience with PlayStation VR. Guys, that sounds like history repeating itself right there. Console is also stated to use advanced. Here it goes, because we were just talking about the FSR from AMD. The console is also stated to use advanced reconstruction techniques. RGT clarifies that RGT is Red Gaming Tech, by the way. Clarifies that the techniques won't be the same as AMD's FSR 2.0, but will be based on Sony's own research. Within and all that. Then they talk about Zen 4 cores, all that good stuff. But the main things to hit on here are end of 2023 or sometime in 2024. 2 times basic performance graphically, 2.5 times performance when it comes to ray tracing. And when it comes to advanced reconstruction techniques, it seems that Sony has been doing research and has come up with their own form of FSR 2.0, which that's really interesting to me. So like I said, if that is true, AMD knows this is true. All right, so for our previous topic, imagine if they're just pissed off about that and you're like, all right, fine. We're not talking about your console at all with our new feature. You're not going to use it anyway. We don't care. But when it comes to this new console, end of 2023, beginning of 2024. Now, Pred, I ended with you. I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you think about this rumor? Again, Red Gaming Tech, beginning of last generation, I didn't necessarily believe him so much. He was one of the first people to come out and talk about the Xbox One when it comes to the power and all that good stuff. Now, over the years, I've come to see that he's pretty level-headed guy, and he really does kind of like know the industry. What do you think about this rumor about a Pro? Do you think 2023 or 2024? Do you think that's too soon? And like a couple of things are strange to me. The whole being a better experience for VR. They already knew they were making a VR to begin with. Like, wouldn't they already have that better experience on the original PS5? Like, I don't know. What do you think about this, man?
Well, okay, let me go back to my conspiracy theory from a minute ago. Something wrong with the PlayStation 5. So why did it take so long? Like, keep in mind, let's stick with VR for a minute. They have not released a VR game for PlayStation. How many years? So typically, when you don't release something, it's because something's fucked up and they can't get anything out. It's like if they have VR headsets out there in a while. They have not put a PlayStation VR sanctioned game out in probably 2 years. Someone in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, from their own internal studios, not some third party studio, like their own shit. Even if you want to go back and say, okay, maybe Sony co-developed something or something.
Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. I got to say this real quick because Sir X-Man did hit up that super chat, and Sir X-Man, I will not miss any, bro. I will not miss any. And the funny thing is, he said PS4 Pro, 16 T-flops, $800. Says, okay, fine, scalpers, dude. That's another thing about that, man.
Don't interrupt, Fred.
I'm sorry. I had to. Sir X-Man, he supports the channel like crazy. But go ahead, Fred. Get back into it, bro.
So, okay. So they have not released any PlayStation VR games in God knows how long. Someone in chat can tell me when the last time it was, but it's still been a while. It hasn't been since the PlayStation 5 came out. I'll put it that way. You can't find any on shelf. So what typically happens when you can't this is why I think this rumor is true. I've not seen a PlayStation 5 available, even like this small like they're open, they used to do those drops and they'd be like, okay, Best Buy has some today. I've not seen one of those in a while either. I think Sony just said, fuck it. We can't get them out. We don't have the chips. Let's just hoard this shit and we'll save it for the next PlayStation, the next iteration, so we can get those out in mass. Some of it could be COVID, some of it could just be like chip shortage, whatever. Because trust me, I know when they get on the shelves, they sell. But I've not seen any drops in almost a year. I've not heard of any in almost a year, maybe longer.
Huh.
And I think they probably just said, you know what, let's just pull them, because this is what they did with the PlayStation 4s and what Xbox did with the Xbox Series, not Series, get my names mixed up, the One X. They eventually just pulled them, and you couldn't find them anywhere. And they didn't tell anybody they pulled them. You just stopped seeing them because they were preparing for the launch of the next console. Like, you can find the Series S anywhere right now. Like, I've seen them in stores now. That's how easy they are to find. That's why they're selling like hotcakes. So people can get them. They're readily available. But with them coming out with the PSVR, I think, or 2, that's next year, right? Or did they put a release date on that? Because I know they talked about it.
I don't think
showed it.
They didn't put a release date on it, but we already saw pictures of like the controller. I believe we saw the
headset. Yeah. I could see them because they talked about it recently, like maybe like a month ago. I could see them releasing PSVR 2 with a new PlayStation console, with the new upgraded, better able to run, because like that PSVR 2 is not going to work on the PlayStation 4. It's not I don't think it's going to be able to run on that system. PlayStation 5, yes. The original PlayStation 5, before they come out with whatever the fuck they come out with, yes. But I think it's going to be held back, kind of like how PSVR was held back from the original PlayStation 4.
To me, that's kind of weird, though, man, because they already knew. They already knew the specs of their VR,
and this is why it's a part of their plan to sell more consoles, because that's what they based their fucking shit on. We'll pull these consoles that we can't even get out right now, and we'll make the new console and we'll put them out like hotcakes and they'll sell because the PSVR 2 is coming out. Mind fuck, right? Like, oh, these consoles sell like hotcakes. That's how they sell it to the public. Oh, and you got these motherfuckers in chat and on Twitter. Yeah, we're outselling Xbox, and then we go right back to what we're doing with last generation. We're talking about console sales. We're not talking about money. We're talking about how consoles sell, and that's exactly what they want, because they won the war last generation based off of console sales. So they're still thinking in the past, because that was the metric back then. It was console sales. It wasn't money when it should have been money. It was console sales, right?
Yeah.
So what better way to fucking get that back? Make a new console, have it readily available, because they pretty much lost this past generation. As far as I won't say lost, but it didn't go the way they wanted to. They sold very well in the beginning.
They lost mind share, man.
They lost mind share.
Yeah.
They lost that narrative of console sales, and so if they come out with a new console, and they come out with the new headset, VR headset, and the console's better, and they actually have chips to make it now because they've been hoarding them and not selling them and not making PS5s. There you go. So this time next year, you'll start seeing the push and them talking about console sales again, how many units they sold versus Xbox, and these fucking knuckleheads in chat and fucking on Twitter will be bragging about console sales again. It just makes sense. You pull back if you, because Nintendo did it, right?
No,
and that helped them out. They did it. Yeah, they did it with the Wii. They said, "Fuck it, we're not making anymore."
Yeah, it went right to the Switch.
and
started putting.
They went to the Switch. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said, "Fuck it, we'll make a new console." We lost this shit. They turned tail and they fucking made a Switch, and so the Switch has been selling like hotcakes ever since. So like I could see with the new console, with the new refresh, them trying to get mind share just based off of that alone, just the console sales alone. Because now everybody who wants a PlayStation 5 can't fucking find one. Now they got all the chips back. They got this new console coming out. They haven't really produced a lot of them. You can't find them anymore. Obviously, they're doing something with that fucking that time, that money, that energy. They're making a new PlayStation 5. And then boom, holiday this year, maybe middle of next year. Oh, PlayStation 5s are out in the wild. PlayStation 5.2, 5.1, or 5.0, whatever the fuck you want to call it. 5 Pro is going to come out. Oh, this is better for your PSVR, and we're going to charge you, $399 for this, and then another fucking $399 for the headset, and we got this new game, God of War VR, and fucking like, there you go. That's all they got to do, And they got Alloy coming out with fucking Horizon, or whatever the fuck that comes out. And so like they're lining up for PlayStation VR 5 or 0.2 or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and that's it. That's what they're banking on right now.
All right. Now, Pred, with this, I gotta ask your opinion on this. With this rumor, and again, it's from somebody who does know the industry. He's got their doors open for Red Gaming Tech, like that whole channel and everything there. So saying this is basically a true deal. We're gonna go with this is true. Does Xbox need to do anything here? Do you think they're planning a pro system as well? Like what do you think? What do you think Xbox is kind of doing behind closed doors in terms of that? An upgrade to the Series X. Do you think that's something they're working on?
We kind of talked about this last week. I thought it was just out of the box thinking. I thought they're making the VR headset, because we kind of talked about that code name that was leaked or whatever last week. But
Keystone, yeah.
Keystone, yeah. I don't know. I think the system we have now is really capable of playing pretty much and doing pretty much everything that it's being asked to do and then some, because we haven't even scratched the surface of it yet, right? Like we haven't even pushed it to the limits yet. So I don't see why they would force themselves into that, that battle right now. I just don't see why they would do that. So I don't think they need to do anything right now. If Sony comes out with a new PlayStation console, and it's just an upgraded, maybe smaller version, because I mean that would make sense to me from the PlayStation side, because that thing is huge. Like it's engineered PlayStation 5. The smaller Pro version will make more sense to me. But I don't think Microsoft needs to answer that yet. I don't think that's something they need to answer, because they have the Series S, just a perfectly capable console right now for what's going on as far as the gaming space goes. As long as that system can play some of these games at 120 frames or even 60 frames, I think they don't need to do anything, because they have two consoles, one that's a beast and one that's like a mini beast. So there really isn't a need for them to do anything right now. Now, talk to me in about 2 years. When some of these other games start coming out that are pushing the limits of Series X, then they probably need to pull the Series S off the shelf and maybe make a Series X.2 or something. But right now, no, they're doing fine. There's no need for them to do anything right now. That's just me. I don't see the purpose of it. Because I mean, you can't even find a Series X right now. Why? And the same thing with the PS5. Why are you making another console?
That's the thing that
and
boggles
you can't
my
even
mind,
find
man. That's the thing that boggles my mind right here. We're talking about a pro, and again, this information has come out. Yo, and shout out to Cork. Cork, I know there are people in the industry that talk nonsense, but I will let you know, over years of checking out this channel's like news and information, they're not the type that just comes off with nonsense. When it comes down to it, they want to be respected within the developer community, the hardware development community, and stuff like that. So they really they don't do that bullshit. Pretty much is what I'm gonna say. And that's why, when it comes down to it, that's why this whole thing is a little more solid to me, because of who's saying it at this point in time. I'm not saying it's absolutely true, and so many things can happen within 2 years, but uh, to me, it would kind of make sense that a pro would at least be in development on Sony's side, but I'm not sure if I like that with this generation. Last generation, we had the Jaguar cores, which were completely outdated CPU cores for the time, all that good stuff, and so mid-gen kind of like refreshes, more powerful systems, to me made sense last generation. But with this generation, and the new cores that they're using, the new CPU, all that good stuff, I'm not sure if that makes sense. Like, the only way it would make sense for me is if it extends the generation. All right, because I don't want to see it where these companies are still doing, like, maybe 5 and 6 year generations like they used to do, and then like every third year they'd come out with a more powerful system, but then 2 years after that they're coming out with that next generation system. That's something I don't want to see. um but let's get Crispy in on this. Crispy, PS5 Pro, according to Red Gaming Tech. Again, the information in there: 2.5 times the performance when it comes to ray tracing, 2.5 times the graphical power when it comes to a vanilla PS5. Rumored to come either by the end of 2023, which I know we're in 2022 right now, but that, when it comes to the gaming kind of like life, the gaming timeline, that's really not too far away. What do you think about this rumor, man? Do you think there's any truth to this, and how would you feel if it were true?
It hits their mark for supporting PlayStation 4, and completely makes sense. I I'll be honest with you, like, you think about it, like PSVR 2, okay, like they're making a big deal about it right now, but you don't see any launch date or anything like that. You have games that, they're coming out with, like God of War, for example, that could probably be ported to VR. They're doubling down on it. I'll give them credit for it. At the end of the day, I don't know if it's going to do anything. I think all Microsoft has to do is make Series X more readily available, and I think that will absolutely destroy anything they're trying to do with this PS5 Pro, like I like to call it. It is what it is. Like, if they come out with this, you have to realize that those games have to be made for this mid-gen console. But guess what? We had that on the One X. A lot of people forget that. There was games that, yes, you could play on other consoles, but they weren't quite the same unless you played it on the One X. And I think they're gonna do what Microsoft already did. It's cheesy, it's corny, but I'm sorry, with this AMD stuff and all these other things going on, I feel like they think they know that they're the best, okay? And nobody's going to tell them otherwise. So what do we have to say about it? They're going to probably come out with a mid-gen console, and to be honest, me as an Xbox gamer, I can't hate it. I bought into 2 of them, the Series S and the One X. Yeah, I'm sorry, the One S or the One X. I bought into both of them. Okay, and that's the point. Like, people will buy in if you love a game. You know, like Gears 4, it looked amazing on the 1S. So what do you want from me? You know, so these gamers are going to be like, I'm going for it, but are you leaving people behind? And that's what I feel like they're kind of ignoring that. And that's where the cloud and everything else comes in for Xbox.
Yeah.
They're releasing games that aren't supposed to run on your original Xbox One,
but
somehow they do. Somehow they do. Regardless,
well, in the future,
we can put cloud. You can put the cloud out there, like, you know, right now they still haven't fully released it. A lot of people are like, "Oh, the cloud's there. XCloud is there." Well, guess what? They haven't even technically fully released it, and we stopped talking about this, but they haven't done it. And it's been like, what, 4 years it feels like? You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like when they started talking about it. So what are we doing? Like, you know, the Series X is so hard to find at this point, but the Series S is so easy to find. It's technically parts of it are the same chipset. They're not putting that in. They're just going to wait for PlayStation to say, hey, we're going to do this. Well, we already invested in this Series X. Hey, Series X with, you know, these little skins or whatever, like, you know, turn your console into whatever game you feel like. Like, they haven't done any of these things. They customize every controller. Why not customize the Series X? A lot of people ignore these things. Like,
well, they
they're
can't
not
right now because, like I said, we can't even get our hand. Like, well, and that might be
and
be
we're
changing. We might have to talk.
and
about that.
we're talking about another PlayStation iteration already. Think about that.
Yeah,
and
that's.
I've watched Red Gaming Tag. He's not, you know, he's not one of those fanboy motherfuckers. Okay, he sees it, he says it. That's it. Okay, so that's the way I look at it. And the one thing is that he is more in the PlayStation realm at this point compared to the Xbox, but he still is not sitting there like, you know, what is Xbox doing as well? And that's the thing. Like, you know, with AMD, the way they're acting right now, which, I mean, could be detrimental. I mean, maybe, you know, PlayStation comes out with a SSD 2.0 and absolutely smashes everything. You know, everybody keeps, like, you don't realize, like, you have Ratchet and Clank sitting there, right? Well, guess what? That's the reason why it's sitting on PS5 and you can't play it on PlayStation 4. Guess why? SSD. That was our tout. That was the greatest thing in the world. And it doesn't do much for a gamer themselves. If anything, you're like, okay, I could play this game. It loads faster, but I have no comparison.
You know,
And
Crispy, real quick, you make a great point when it comes to the SSD because that was so heavily marketed. All right, and then when it came to Ratchet and Clank, they talked about the rifts that you go through, and they're like instantaneous and stuff like that. And of course, people called that out, right? That, you know, other games have done this without that SSD or whatnot. But you haven't really heard anything from anybody working on games with PS5 where they're utilizing that SSD for in-game features that they were, you know, that PlayStation was talking about, experiences that just couldn't be done anywhere else. You're not
do
hearing
you
any
know what?
developers talking about
But I gotta cut you off. Do you know why that is?
why?
Because the Series X hasn't even been tapped yet. And if you look at it this way, Xbox already has this console out in the wild. Okay. And I mean, if you sit in front of that thing, you're like, this is a mini PC. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's like, let's not deny it. But at the same time, it's so sleek and so simple that it's like, man, this thing's gonna be and I get it. Like, people have had issues with the console at times, okay? But at the end of the day, they are literally like coding this thing to do what it wants to. And I think the capability of this console is like not even tapped at all, to be honest. Like, they're more focused on the entire ecosystem, like, xCloud, just Game Pass in general. Like, they're focused on making everyone happy. And I think when PlayStation comes out with their PlayStation 5 Pro, I think they're going to be like, okay, we got you. And to be honest, like, there's enough hookups in here. You could hook up an Oculus or something. Like, I wouldn't. Phil is. I've seen the dirty side of Phil. You know what I mean? Like, I've watched this man too long, and he might be like, you know what? This looks really good. Well, guess what? This is a third-party developer. We'll put it in the new VR Game Pass. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, they can do that because this damn console is so incredible at this point. And it's really hasn't been touched as far as the software side of it. That, I mean, who are you gonna have confidence with to take that software to the next level? It's gonna be Microsoft. I mean, let's be honest. They've done this so many times. You know what I mean? They've done this with their Windows platform. I mean, you have to realize that, like, this company, like, I see people still saying that, Xbox is dead. No, Xbox is alive, and it's becoming even more alive than you've ever seen.
This fool say Xbox is alive. Crispy's my man.
Johnny 5. We will call Xbox Johnny 5 from now on.
Dude, I'm telling you, you can't get, I see so many people wanting a Series X, they can't get their hands on it. So they grab a Series S. Well, guess what? That's extra $300 in their pocket, because at the end of the day, we go 2 years down the road when that PS5 Pro comes out, and you're like, oh, damn, this is great. And then you play it for a little while, and then it's all your single player experiences. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, the Series X is here.
Crispy, man, you gotta let me talk to you as well, bro. Dude, you talk about single player experiences. The funny thing is, we're talking about Sony releasing day and date on PlayStation and PC, and you're talking single player experiences. That newly acquired Haven, now a first party studio, is working on a game that's going to be exclusive now, console exclusive, but is also releasing day and date on PC as well when that game comes out.
So Haven is an exclusive now?
The Haven Studios is first party now. They got acquired, and they were working on a multiplayer game, game as a service for PlayStation and PC. And now
let's call
day and date is here, people.
Let's call a spade a spade. K-Mega saying, hey, we did this already. That's what he's saying. Okay. Hey, we already did this. Days Gone, I think, did really well on PC, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that. These are games that got shitty Metacritics, which, I think we're all on the same page. Meta fucking who? You know what I mean? If you enjoy a game, you enjoy a game. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. But,
can I get
you look at it.
Who in the chat, people? Come on, let's see it.
Hashtag meta who, motherfucker. That's where I look at it and I say, gaming is through your own eyes. It's not through my eyes. I'll give you my perspective. That's really what it comes down to. But at this point, the way AMD's acting, and on top of that, like, we already know there's RDNA 2 in the Series X. The problem is I think they're just kind of waiting for Sony to pull their hand. And to be honest, if they're going to come out with another iteration, why not put that behind like the finally we believe in generations type thing. You know what I mean? Like finally, Jim's like, oh yeah, this is only for this console. But we're already starting to see that from Xbox. So think about that for a second.
All right, brother. And on that note, I got to give another shout out to my brother, Sir X-Man, my golfing buddy, hitting up that super chat. Thank you so much for the support, brother. He said, I told you 2 years ago Sony was not ready for this generation. Bro, you did. You did. I remember it. I know it.
He did.
I heard it. Xbox Live Party, everything like that. He didn't even have to be on the live show to tell people. Bro, I remember. And yeah, this rumor, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. It's like deja vu in terms of the PS4 when the VR came out with that, and they came out with the PS4 Pro to kind of like help the VR and all that good stuff. So, K Mega, what do you think about this? First off, I gotta ask you. I know you probably watched Red Gaming Tech. What do you think he's credible? Because that's another question out there.
I haven't watched, but only maybe one video of his, but I've heard of him from a lot of people. So
okay, well, but
yeah,
go ahead. What do you think, man?
No. I don't. But overall, listen. Why don't we go back and we look at history? Like that's kind of like my angle of this. And tell me when PlayStation has never made another console, even if it was slim or if it was a more powerful version. Can anybody name me a generation where PlayStation has never made a console with either one?
Yeah, no,
another version of their consoles. They always have it. PS3 was probably the only one technically, but it still was a slim compared to what it was with the first one. All the rest of the iterations, I mean, PlayStation 4 did it completely different.
PS1 had a slim.
Yes,
I got a PS Slim in the closet. So it's like, so to me, it's like this is history. Like this, all you got to do is just see Sony's path, and Pred made so many. I mean, Crispy made a lot of points as well, but Pred was hitting it like dead on every aspect of it. Think about the situation of why the VR. Why this is supposed to be? You got PlayStation 5 dropping. You don't have PSVR 2 ready to go at launch. That's a red flag for me. If Xbox had, just think of it, just flip this over, and let's just say that the Series X was about to drop a new console, and they had the Kinect still, and then there's no Kinect. Like what? The Kinect 3.0? Like that would have already been conspiracy theories talking about that, right? If PlayStation was doubling down the way that they have been with VR, why would they have to wait in order to bring the PlayStation VR 2 to the public? I mean, we're almost approaching what, a year and a half. So it almost, during the summer, I think it'll be like a year and a half since we haven't had any other new peripheral for the PlayStation 5. So there is something wrong with the PlayStation 5, the way that they didn't talk about it, the way that they didn't come and they introduced it. They didn't show it until the very last second, the very last minute.
Hey, keep in mind they had every other peripheral ready for the PlayStation 5 except for VR.
And why is that?
Well, I can throw a hypothesis out there. Why is that?
Oh, you and that word.
You and that goddamn word.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, they could have scattered. They could have staggered the hardware release when it comes to that. Have it come out later on to kind of if sales were dropping. And again, Crispy said this. Pred said this. Sony loves to talk about numbers, consoles sold, stuff like that. So when the console starts slipping down a little bit, they got the marketing to come up with the next version of VR.
That is not a hypothesis.
That I'm gonna tell you why that hypothesis doesn't add up. Is because what you have is, if the PlayStation 5 was not selling well, how do you think, we're talking about a $500 console, the $400 console, the unicorn is literally not even nowhere to be seen. And if the PlayStation 5
right there, bro.
If the PlayStation 5 was not selling well, hypothetically, then what makes you think people are going to invest to spend $300 to $500 for a peripheral on top of a PlayStation 5? That's what we're talking about, anywhere from $800 to $1,000.
Not selling well, but I'm saying, like, when it starts kind of dipping down a little bit, they want to inject it, bring it back
I get what you're saying. No. The VR is not gonna do that. Now for the VR, it could, but for the VR, it could. It's according to what the price range is, but for the PlayStation 5 itself, I see where you're trying to get at, but no, if the PlayStation 5 just wasn't moving units like people like they were wanting to, then obviously that would also hurt the peripheral, because there are strong, well, I can't say strong, but there's a lot of people out here who likes VR, but for the masses, VR is still not hitting that level like some people might tell you that they think it is. It's just not. I mean, you just go by the percentages. But the overall thing of it is that since they do this, they make this point of kind of giving the indication of, like, because of the holdout of the VR, is that they're waiting for something else. Now, I don't know if that's because of what you were saying earlier about this. They want to implement this new type of VRR or whatever new type of technology they want to get, and then add that into the PlayStation 5 in a different, when it's ready. But all indications kind of pointing towards a new version of the console. Every angle is pointing at it, and I don't know about the dates, because usually when people say something about dates, it's usually off, it's usually wrong. Because still, I'm sure that there's maybe not because of the chip shortage, but I'm sure that they still want to get rid of whatever that's left in stock of the PlayStation 5s that's there. So they would probably wait I would say 2025. Think that would be, because at that point, then you're really definitely in the deep thick of just only PlayStation 5 titles. And that, to me, 2023 is supposed to be, but I still think that there's still going to be games that's going to be still doing the crossover thing until about 2024, when I think it really will officially kick off, where, look, now you got to get a PlayStation 5 or a Series S or X in order for you to play these new versions of PlayStation and Xbox games. So I'm thinking, 2024, it could really kick in, but I think that they might announce it in 2024, but it'll kick off in 2025. But listen, man, there is something there. Now, there is something there. I know I was seeing Fahim and all the rest of them. That's getting into it, and they're saying we get too thick in the weeds. But for them not to have the VR ready is a problem. At launch, for them to not talk about the PlayStation 5 the way that they talked about the PlayStation 4, 3, 2, and 1, it's kind of weird. And then now it comes to the whole point of, what is the new narrative? Because if they do have another mid-refresh console, what about all that power in the SSD talk that they've been doing? So, what's it going to be? What's that going to look like? So Sony does what they want to do. People just follow what their lead, but it's really not the industry, but their fan base. But the question about all of this is, which makes it really interesting, is that we all know. There are PlayStation fans that will try to tell you that they're similar, but in all reality, they even know that the Series X is a much more powerful, much more stable console than the PlayStation 5 is.
Don't tell them that.
That's not saying that the PlayStation 5 is a bad console. I'm not saying that. But when you compare the both, when it power aspect and for the features, like when we were talking into the last point, the last topic, it's clear like AMD, that shit is already ready for the Series X whenever they're ready to drop that update. Mm-hmm. PlayStation, on the other hand, why is there a delay? So I mean,
funny?
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Mega, is I see a lot of people using Discord to have party chats in PlayStation games. That's pretty sad. I'm just saying.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that on Xbox just because it would be easier for me to stream and join the Discord on my PC with my headset, and people on the Xbox could join Discord, and I could still get everybody's audio in, but through my
there
PC.
you go. So they're going after streamers then.
That I would like that feature personally, bro. I came Mega, I know you're hearing it, but I think that wouldn't be bad for you either, man. I'm just saying.
No, it wouldn't be bad for anybody. I mean, you can do it. I mean, I like this new method that I have now, just using the Xbox app off of PC, and then I can talk to people how I choose. And just go through. The only time that I have a problem with is when is that like if I'll forget and still think that I'm on Xbox Live on Xbox. And then when I hit like party or something, or I'm trying to send out messages or invites or whatever, I got to go through. I can't just do it as quickly as you can through the Xbox. You still got to kind of manually go through and find it out. I wish that they could implement a couple, something to try to make that a little bit easier. But other than that, no, I like the little system. And if they added that to Discord, that would be great too. I mean, as many, options, the more options, the better. So I'm cool with that. But I do think that is a possibility for sure. And if it is, it's not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is. Sony has always been doing it. So, but it just changed the narrative, which they don't have no code, no morals, and so they don't care. They'll just keep on spewing bullshit as long as they can try to get people to listen. So they'll change the narrative and say, "Oh, now it's more and more powerful." Here, RDNA 5. They'll make up every all types of shit about what's going on once they find out that Sony is going to be doing something else.
Talk about change the narrative. The variable refresh rate update. Man. Dude, now all of a sudden it's a viable thing because it'll come to PlayStation at some point. I don't even think they've announced when it will come out, but before that, when Xbox had it, and I'll say, Mega, I got some concerns when it comes to the VRR. All right, until it's a staple on TVs, there are some concerns, and I think we've seen it on Xbox. Now, there are a lot of developers out there that want to show their game in the best light. All right, but I am not going to sit here and act like that is the end all be all when it comes to developers out there. Some developers, they want to get their game out as quickly as possible. They've been working on it 3-4 years, stuff like that. They want some revenue coming in, right? And with variable refresh rate, they don't have to optimize the frame rates as much, because what VRR does is your console basically talks to your TV and takes over the refresh rate on your TV and adjusts it for that game. So making the frames a lot more stable and all that good stuff. So now with basically the VRR option, showing up in the menu, it's kind of like a coming soon type feature for the PlayStation 5. We already have it on the Xbox. K-Mag, I have a concern here that there's going to be more what we would call lazy developers out there that aren't necessarily going to optimize the frame rates as much, because they're going to lean on, we'll enable the feature, the VRR, and that'll take care of it for people who have that on their TVs. You know what I'm saying, man?
I got you, but I don't think that that's going to be the case for
Dude, we've seen it on Xbox already, though.
Yeah, but see again, that's games going into the older generation. That's I think that's look at the situation of how many games that they're developing for. With putting games on this gen and last gen on both consoles and PC, and then you still got some games that still comes over to the Switch or whatever, and then you got to do that through the cloud on a lot of those games, things like that. So I think that I don't see most developers doing that going forward in the long run. Will it still happen? I'm sure it will, but I mean that. In a way, it's just one of those points of where look, we all ask for this stuff, gamers. We all ask for these type of things. So if we are these people that keep asking for these type of features to be implemented into, we want to hit 120 frames, then I'm sure that they'll say we want to hit 144 and we want to do this and we want to have full PC specs on consoles coming in, but at least by the end of this gen and all this other stuff. Well, you know what? You're going to have to have the stuff as well to make to utilize all of these features that you're asking for. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've been saying this as well too, is that look, man, this is an expensive hobby now. Gaming is more affordable on Xbox, trust that, but it's still an expensive hobby.
Game Pass, bro.
Yeah, Game Pass. So and then PlayStation gamers will get a chance of that gloriness when they get Spartacus, whatever the name will be. So to me, it's like, if you are fearing that, then you need to go ahead and get you a VRR monitor.
Well, they have TVs with variable refresh rates as well.
Yeah, no, I know. I got one. I know. That's what I'm saying. So maybe you can find a deal on a monitor that's a little cheaper than some of these televisions. But
he knows my spending habits, man. He knows.
Right.
He knows how tight I am with the wallet when it comes down to it.
So I'm just like, maybe a monitor might suffice, but if not, then I mean, but I don't like using that term.
Mega, real quick. You said in a previous topic, you said, we talk about history, right? Mm-hmm, I'm going to point to history when it comes to this stuff. When these consoles went to x86 architecture, right? There was a fear that with having the ability to update the games, that they would release games unfinished, basically in a broken state or a buggy mess, and they would rush it to get it out there, to get it out into the hands, and then they would fix it over time. And I think those concerns were pretty dead on with a lot of titles, a lot of studios or whatnot. So there is a history to this where it's definitely a good thing, in general, but we've seen developers kind of take advantage of that as well.
But yeah, true. But then you get to this point to where it's like, okay, so you're not going to have stable frame rates on your games, and your games are not going to be complete. Then what you're going to do, you're going to start really getting people to start not caring about your product. If that's where I'm coming from. Like gamers can take a lot. It's taking a lot, and have there'll be those they'll talk shit, and then they don't participate in anything, but they just want to talk on the internet and act like they just want to be a part of something. But then there's also what's that goes through it. Like people will talk about Madden, or they'll talk about whatever the case may be, Battlefield and whatever. And for years I've told you that I support Battlefield, love Battlefield. It's my favorite shooting franchise next to Halo. But then what happened? Finally, the straw broke the camel's back. I'm not buying any more Battlefields day one.
Yeah, I felt so bad for you with this last Battlefield, bro. Because
I'm
much of a fan you are, man.
You know how much I love Battlefield. So
I think he'd buy Bad Company.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not paying another $110 ever again for Battlefield. No,
I don't
I'm
think they
not.
would do that.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're still going to charge you for deluxe ultimate editions. They're going to be $110. So I'm not going to. I'm not paying. You got my last $110. That's it.
Mega, real quick, I just want to address Fahim here because, dude, this is something I've dealt with for years now. Fahim, you are my bro. You're talking about Krakens without bodies. Like when I was talking about the Kraken and what people were doing, they were literally going out to a certain distance, right? They were getting to a point and to an angle where they would, because there were layers built in the game, and this is how they developed the dark water effect. And I don't know, Fahim, if you notice, I don't know if you have an Xbox, you ever played Sea of Thieves, but when the Kraken comes, the water gets really dark. That's the first sign.
You can't see
get this
anything.
huge shadow, right? And what people were doing, they were going all the way out into the ocean, and they were coming back underneath the water, and they were hitting it at a certain angle where it would go underneath. You can see the line for the dark water that was developed, all right? And then they would show that there was nothing underneath that, all right? They were basically looking for any way to try to take away from that game at that point in time. It's not just that they were looking in the water, looking down, and there was no body there. Okay, when it came down to it, they were literally trying to find, like in Dying Light, there were certain rocks and rock formations on the mountains and stuff that when you looked at it from a certain angle, that rock would disappear. All right, that's what they were looking for, glitches in the game to see what they could see, and that's when they were like, oh look, there's no body under there. But when you're playing the game, you're in the heat of the moment, you're getting attacked by the Kraken, like none of that takes away any immersion or fun from the game. I'm sorry, K Mega, I had to say that because I've been dealing with this for so long, and people don't realize what I was trying to say.
Who cares? Sea of Thieves is doing better than most of the games than they cap about.
That's still kicking, man. Still kicking. Another season.
So Sea of Thieves still the Kraken can be lacking, but the money is stacking. So who cares? It's what's happening here is that where you want to go and keep talking about developers not doing this, not doing that. I get it, but man, just stack up your chips and just get the stuff to make. Just stack up your chips and get the stuff, man. Get the proper television. Get the proper. I mean, things always do go down in price. I mean, you can still be a bargain shopper and still get some good stuff. You don't have to try to high side on and roll it. Oh man, I got the QLED, I got the OLED. Oh now Samsung's getting
I got a TCL sitting right next to me. I'm happy,
bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, it's just no different than when people try to shame people for having a Series S, or if some people or people, because. But it was funny because nobody did shame anybody when they had a PlayStation Slim. You see what I'm saying? Like people was playing games on the PlayStation Slim. But they weren't. But you're cool then.
And that's Slim. But now you're going to sold the PS4 Pro as well, man.
Yeah, and the regular, by a lot. So to me, it's really funny. So you don't need to be listening to that. If you want to bargain shop and get a Hisense, it's a cheaper model. It's still going to be a really good quality television for you. If you want to try to get if you can find a Vizio that has the VRR, those things I don't personally, because I've kind of turned into a TV stickler now. Like I kind of hold up my nose now when it comes to TV.
The word is snob. The word is snob. You're a TV snob now, bro.
Is that what I am? I think so. Whatever. Yeah, I do hold on my nose and stuff. But
TCL.
But with certain, but certain other things, hell no. Like some people might have a different outlook on certain things, and they might be a snob on that, and I'm like, no, shit, you better give me the bargain. So it is what it is, but yeah, get you the monitors, get you if you can't afford the TVs outright, or just wait, stack up your chips, and just get the right proper TV. But the one thing too is that it's not going to matter for if a lot of people got a Series S, or it's not going to. I mean, it's not going to really matter all too much. I mean, it's still, because if they're still pumping out games at 1080p. So they would think that their performance will still be pretty good at 30 and 60 and things like that. But I don't know, man. Everybody has a different type of acquired taste when it comes to the gaming situation. But for the gaming elitists, the people who listen to the podcast, the people that's invested like we are, I mean, you want us to keep supporting your habits. You got to keep on buying this. You got to pay to play, pretty much. I mean, everything has gotten expensive. I mean, hell, man, it's just reality.
I got you.
That's how I'm going to look at it.
You know what's going to be funny though when this VRR is implemented. When multiplats come out and digital fuckery does their analysis and the Xbox console drops like a couple frames lower than the PlayStation console. Now when this comes out, it's going to be funny to see the PlayStation extremists when their frame rates are all over the place because they're testing it without the VRR monitor just to see for kind of like the common folk out there or whatnot. It's going to be hilarious to see kind of like people on social media and how they damage control the sudden swing in frame rates.
You know what trips me out though, just to make just this point real quick. Before people even heard about this stuff or start talking about it, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter, bro.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter at the end of the day. Like, I mean, people like that's what I'm saying. Like, there are people out here in the gaming space that want to make this out to be a horrible thing any and every damn time that they see something that if they got dips or if you've been a gamer as long as we have, I couldn't tell you how many games that's had issues or whatever, and I just kind of overlooked it because if the game was enjoyable at the end of the day, I mean, that's what all that mattered is that I had fun playing it. And, you want the best of the best. I totally get it, especially you get what you pay for. But then but for people to just go overboard the way that they do by talking about in this certain cutscene, you got dips, or if you got a whole bunch of shit blowing up at one time and there's some slowdown, or if you going and you're driving somewhere and you see some tearing in the corner and shit like that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, damn, man. I mean, when did console gamers try to be PC elitists? It drives me crazy.
Yo, it does. Well, guys, we got to get into some good news here when it comes to Xbox, and the news came out at GDC. For people who don't know, that is the Game Developers Conference. Microsoft and Xbox, they love going to GDC every year. They love going in and talking to the developers and letting them know what's going on their platform to make to kind of get them to be like, hey, this is the platform that we want to lead with. And this information is about Game Pass. Now, if you have followed this channel for a while, we have been talking about Game Pass for a long time. Even when the naysayers were out there, even on the Xbox side saying, I don't know about this service. Me, K Mega, Pred, Crispy, we were just saying, hey guys, just wait. Like, it's about to get crazy, especially when they announced, first party day and date will never leave Game Pass. And then we started seeing the third party deals, games going in day and date on their launch, going directly into Game Pass. When they announced EA was joining Game Pass with EA Play going into Game Pass as well, it has just gotten bigger and bigger. But now there are numbers, and again, they are pointing this towards the game developers, all right? But Benji Sales on Twitter put these numbers out there, for everybody to see. So when it comes to just games, subscribers play 40% more games after joining Game Pass, which to me absolutely makes sense. When you start going through the library, games that you wouldn't have necessarily bought, all of a sudden you can try out and stuff like that. So 40% more games are being played by subscribers, all right? Games on average are seeing an almost 8.5 times increase in active players with their games being in Game Pass. So games are seeing 8.5 times more gamers playing their games. Day one launches see a 3.5 times increase in players for large publishers, whether it's EA or the big guys out there, and a 15-time increase in players when it comes to indie games. 15-time increase in indie games when indies are launched in Game Pass. Now, here's the thing, because people talk about money. People talk about money all the time when it comes to Game Pass. It's not profitable and all that good stuff. That's their negative thing. It's not making money. Subscribers spend 50% more money on when they're subscribed to Game Pass on games. 50% more money. So you would think, oh my goodness, but they're getting all these games with a subscription service. They're saving money, but with that, they're spending their money on DLCs, expansions, stuff like that to keep that game that they like to play within Game Pass, to keep it going. All right? Spend 50% more. And then indies, when it comes to revenue, see a triple-digit revenue growth when they release their games in Game Pass. So what I'm looking at here is the gamers are gaming, the gamers are playing more games, and when it comes to the developers, these Game Pass subscribers are spending more money, and the developers are seeing increase in revenue growth. They're seeing more money all the way around when it comes to people subscribed to Game Pass. Now, Crispy, I know you like Game Pass, man. I've seen you play games that you would not play otherwise. You would not spend the money to get these games and play them otherwise. You would go buy them, and I've seen that you have had quality experiences with games that you were absolutely surprised about within Game Pass. Dude, what do you think about these numbers? I mean, we all knew that Game Pass was good, but to hear some of these things, the 50% growth in revenue when it comes to indies, like 50% more money spent from Game Pass subscribers when it comes to games, dude. What do you think about this information? What do these numbers mean for you, bro?
Well, let's just take the elephant out of the room. Many people are going to be like, this doesn't amount to console sales, right?
Dude, I'm sorry.
What's the first thing? You know I'm right, though. Okay. Well, you have to realize that Xbox is trying to do some crazy things, and I see people that never, put out a picture that they have a Series S or a Series X. All they're using is their damn phone, bro. And then you go and say, okay, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have access or they can't get it or whatever it may be. Maybe they've never been an Xbox gamer. But guess what? I'd say like 70% of the games that you could play on your Xbox, you could play on your damn phone at this point.
Yeah,
think about it.
They have done
I see people
when it comes to cloud streaming to your phone, man.
I see people playing Tunic like deliberately on their phone, and they're enjoying the shit out of it.
Yo, Crispy, can I say something? Yo, Tunic is such an awesome game. Like I am almost disappointed in my panel that none of you guys have tried it out yet.
I played the demo like 3 times. Yeah, look, I got to finish this Elden Ring.
It's not my type of game. Number one, it's not. I mean, I've played Gears 5 on my phone. Okay, and it didn't work that bad. Like, I'm used to the controller. I'm used to my Elite Series 2. I'm used to that. I play that game, and the majority of the time.
Do they have touch controls when it comes to Gears 5? Like, do they have the controls on
they're working on it. I see prompts coming up when I've used it.
Okay.
But it doesn't work quite right. That's why they're still in beta. I mean, they're not being dumb about it. They're like, you know what? We're still trying to figure this out. But I see a lot of people enjoying games because of Game Pass and they're doing it in totally different ways than you would ever think of. Like you spend $60, $70 on a game, and you're like, I'm gonna play it the way I've always played it, right? I mean, you think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, okay, Cyberpunk, for example. All right. I'm playing it the way I play RPGs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, my girlfriend's playing A Plague's Tale or something. You know what I mean? What am I going to play? And then all of a sudden you boot up the app and you boot up the Game Pass part of it. And then you're like, oh, well, xCloud. And then you go and connect to that. And then all of a sudden you're playing Halo, for example. Halo runs better than even Gears does at this point. And Halo Infinite just came out. Think about it. So it's a wild thing, but I've played PUBG on my phone. You know what I mean? And this is not a closed ecosystem. I had to actually, throw a few dollars down to be able to play it. And you go and look at it and you're like, well, it's not free to play and never really has been, but I can go and play Fortnite as well. So you go into the mobile market, the non-mobile market. I think this is where King from Activision is going to come into play. I think King is the biggest purchase from the Activision deal.
I think King is the absolute moneymaker when it comes down to it. With the games that are already under like King's belt and what they're doing in the mobile space, like that's just going to make money. Like
think about this. They have completely monetized Candy Crush. Okay, like it's not. You don't have to do it. They've figured out a way to make the players that refuse to pay for it happy, and they don't talk trash about it, but they've also figured out a way to get a ton of money from the people that were just like, yeah, I'll buy that. And you think about it, you could take Halo because it's still free to play, people, okay? And you can monetize it on your mobile phone, and it might be a totally different game in some way sense, and it might not be cross-play like everybody wants, but I mean, everybody talks stress about Xbox cross-play. Fortnite's cross-play through mobile, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
PUBG as
well. And PUBG as well. So, maybe you separate it a little bit, think about it a little more, maybe make a different experience in some way. Like, they don't have to be linear. They have not completely, put this hard line in what they're doing. And I think a lot of people ignore that PlayStation has put this hard line as of now. Now, they're slowly changing it, but it's so slow that you look at games like Candy Crush and realize that this game is played by millions of people every single day, and they might not be paying for it, but they're still playing it for at least a few hours within that day.
My mom spends money on that like crazy.
And that's the thing, dude. Like, and I'm not saying, and this is where you go and say, okay, well, technically you download it. It's kind of free, but you kind of know it's not. But you already have that inkling, especially with a phone. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, they're going to try to get me for something. You know what I mean? Like, and gaming, it's like, okay, Game Pass. Oh, look at this. Hey, you're not trying to get me for anything, really? You know what I mean? Like it's one of those weird things where it's like, I paid $15. Okay, I really want that skin or that certain thing. Yeah, they're gonna throw that money out. Oh, you want to buy it? Go ahead and buy it. But it's not like I paid $70 to buy that. To actually even play that game. I sit there and I'm like, well, I'm not buying it because that's the type of person I am, but it's pretty cool. Like, I didn't pay full price for anything. I just downloaded the game, booted it up, and I'm still playing the game. I mean, I don't know. Anybody call it a Game Pass game that like puts you in a situation where you have to buy something?
No,
I don't recall any.
No, but they give options. Like, and here's one thing, and I think this is absolutely genius. Again, first party goes into Game Pass and basically doesn't leave. You know, there might be licensing issues like, you know, years down the road or whatnot. So, Forza Horizon 5, when it came out, it dropped in Game Pass. You know, day and date, first party title. What that did, giving me the ability to play that game without, you know, spending the $60 right off the bat. They had the basically the ultimate kind of like ultimate edition bundle. It didn't include the game, right? But it included everything else. The car packs, the car pass, the 2 expansions, everything for like $43, right? So
wait, let me stop you real quick. So they wanted you to, so they knew you had Game Pass, kind of. Okay?
Yeah.
So they asked you to pay this money for this specific, you know, deal.
Yeah, this bundle.
Think about it. So think about that.
And to me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, holy shit, yeah, no, I'm not spending the $60 on the game. I'm still able to play the game. Yes, I want all the bells and whistles. And to me, $43 is a no-brainer when it comes to the amount of content that I'm going to get for that. Oh yeah, I'm throwing that down. It was so easy to do.
What is that called, bot? And it's called transparency. Okay, yeah. Let's be transparent. Look, is everybody in agree with it? Fuck no, they're not. Okay, we all know that. But at the end of the day, they're telling you, hey, we know you have it on Game Pass because you're logged into your Microsoft account at the end of the day. And Microsoft is gladly, I mean, you logged into it. That's a you problem. Okay. They're gladly taking that data that you have. And they're like, hey, here's this. Okay. You get all these cars, you get, you know, liveries, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And while you're sitting there and you're only downloading it on Game Pass and paying, what'd you say, $43, $45?
Yeah, it's like, I think it came like 43, like with tax. So it might have been like 40 or so. It came like 43 with tax.
Think about that. So you had the $15 of Game Pass. You're paying as much as Gran Turismo if you bought it. and you are not getting, I'll tell you right now, you're not getting charged half as you're getting charged for stupid shit on Xbox, stuff that is not affecting your game. You understand? Most of Forza Horizon 5 is you have to earn it. And that's something that, like, I hope Xbox does not look at Sony and be like, oh, you can really do that. I hope they look at them and say, nah, we're not about that life. We want to support our gamers. I understand, like, the magnitude of trying to go games as a service, and we're seeing that with Gran Turismo. Okay, but that was the wrong game to try to experiment, and that's where I go and say, like, Game Pass is so amazing because you generally have to invest nothing else but that subscription price.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go and play Tunic, you go and play Tunic.
Yes.
Okay? You know what I'm saying? And you go and play, and that developer has no inkling of getting any money from you. Maybe we'll say 6 months down the road, maybe there's an update, maybe he throws out there this new part of the level or whatever, and then he's like, hey, it's $20. And people are going to gladly pay for it because you played the whole game. You want some more. You know what I'm saying? That's where all of these numbers come into play. It's like, dude, you got to realize that people like myself who would never touch a game, I touched it at least for a couple hours. May not have been my jam. But you know what? They look at that and they say, hey, that's a win. We got somebody that has all this multiplayer and everything else, and that's all he does. And all of a sudden he played this single player game. They're like, holy crap. And then you look at Cyberpunk got 40 hours into it now. Like, dude, I bought that game, and I bought it because guess what? I had Game Pass and I wasn't worried about anything else with what's coming from Xbox. And that's me buying a game that I'm completely interested in. But at the same time, I bought it when it first came out. And that was a mistake. But instead of being all crazy about it, I saw everybody's problems. I had some of the same problems. I said, let me just throw that to the side. I got all these Game Pass games here, and I don't have to spend a damn dime. And all of a sudden, now I'm playing Cyberpunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you look at it, and it like Elden Ring, maybe that's why I came back and you're getting a little tired of it, because you're not doing what you were doing before, going to the games that you felt like playing. You're enamored with Elden Ring, but all of a sudden you're like, man, this is starting to get old.
I
just want to beat it. I just want to beat it. Well, no, but you just want to beat it at some point.
Dude, he's driving nuts with his Assassin's Creed. He's like, nah, I'm still playing Assassin's Creed. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
But that's that's where for me, that's where it's hard. I'm if I have a single player game, because multiplayer is if somebody hits me up and they're like, hey, you want to play? I'm going to play it. You know what I mean? Because I'm more about the interaction. But now I'm like, okay, I have a single player game that I have to beat first. And that's the way I'm thinking now.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
That is that is so different from you, Crispy. To hear that.
Well, you know what? Because
expand kind of what you're doing and what you're playing, man.
Well, it's not that hard. I mean, you have your interactions, but at the same time, I can appear offline right on the app. I don't even have to boot up my Xbox yet. And then I can boot up the Xbox and I'm offline, and I can, just play what I want to play. You know what I mean? And it's going to be single player. If I'm not online, it's because I'm playing a single player game. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good to know. Yo, I gotta say, shout out to future generations, man. And yo, first off, RG Viper, you crazy for that parent comment. That's all I gotta say, bro. You are off the chain. Future generations. When we're talking about the price for the kind of that bundle with the passes and stuff, he's like, that's and we put it all together with the subscription and stuff. He's like, that's the price for one car in Grand Larceny 7, bro.
Grand Larceny.
Wow. 7. Dude, I love that. I'm gonna use that. It's gonna be GL7. It's no more GT7. It's GL7.
You're gonna hear that tomorrow. That's what I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm gonna be using that. I hope you don't mind, generations. I am definitely stealing that one. Yo, K-Mega, you heard these numbers. I don't know. Let me just.
Oh, I wish Crispy kept talking because I'm fighting Joffrey, the first Elden Lord. Oh shit! No, keep going. Listening. Okay.
All right. Well, these Game Pass stats, like I said, 40% more games. Almost 8.5 times lift in players. Let's see. Day one launches see a 3.5 times lift in players. Subscribers spending 50% more on games, and indies seeing triple-digit revenue growth with their games in Game Pass. Dude, what do these numbers mean to you, man?
It means that all the haters that have talked bad about Game Pass in whatever capacity just failed. They were wrong. And they're not going to, and however that they want to try to nitpick it or try to break it down, I mean, it's right there. I think the biggest stat, and I need to go back and look at it myself, 15-time player lift new indie games. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy right there.
That's not 15%, 15 times. So that's incredible. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then 50% more 50% of the Game Pass users spend more than users who aren't on Game Pass. 50% more Game Pass users. So all this is saying right here
but I thought that was welfare gaming, man. I thought we don't spend money.
Right. What this is, and you think, because I mean, we're looking at these numbers. You don't think that the industry is looking at this and saying, man, you don't think Sony was looking at this and saying, man.
Spartacus.
Spartacus. You know what I'm saying? Welfare, PlayStation gaming. Like, I mean, that's they are so like you look at 50% more. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And so like that. So again, 25 million of what they told us, what was a couple of months ago, where Xbox, the Game Pass users, you know that's going up. And it's going to continue to keep going up. The better the game, or the better the game, the more it's going to go up. You know what I'm saying? If Halo came off but see, this is what's crazy. This is where the power of Halo is. Regardless of how disappointed I am of how they've taken so long in bringing out the content, when the content drops, Game Pass numbers will go up.
Well, it's got to be worth it, man. It's got to be more than 2 maps and stuff. Like, we got to see.
No, it's going to go up. It's going to go up anyway, because see, the benefit of it is that there's other things out there. See, like, you can sit there and say, oh, I'm only going to get Game Pass for Forza and Halo. Okay, you're satisfied with Forza and what Forza gives you. You're not so much satisfied right now with the content that Halo's dropping. But then you get surprise hits, because you've even said this, man, that Guardians of the Galaxy, I love it. Oh man, this game pop up. Tunic. How many times every month? It's a game damn near every month that drops on Game Pass that's got your interest. You know what I'm saying? If you know, I love the Ascent. Ascent wasn't your thing, but then when that Scarlet Nexus dropped, what happened? See, this is why Game Pass is going to continue to keep winning, and then it's going to continue to keep growing, because not only its situation is wide, it's broad. It doesn't just normally certain things that's beneficial to certain gamers only kind of have those certain type of genres that only certain people will like. Game Pass touches on every genre that you could speak of. And on top of that, they're going to give more, because after they get after the ink is dry for the Activision situation, wait till Call of Duty drops on Game Pass. What do you think that's going to do?
Oh my goodness.
And you don't even have to, and you don't have to say, listen, think about this for a second. Halo, Forza, Fable, Hellblade 2, Forza Motorsport 7, Redfall. Then you're going to drop Call of Duty Warzone, and then hopefully by that time they got the all ducks in a row where the online is free. You ain't paying for. You don't need Xbox Live. I think they've already done that.
Dark. Yeah, you can keep going.
You know what I'm saying? Perfect Dark. Think about all of that. That's just stuff that we know.
Yo, for real.
Not until we get into the stuff that my stuff. When you talk about Killer Instinct 2, you know, the rumors about they're coming up with a Smash Brothers version of Microsoft collaboration of games.
Oh, we forgot Contraband as well, bro.
Your Contraband.
There's so many
you got
Clay, man.
There's so many Indiana Jones. Yeah. Man, then you know what I'm saying? Then by this time, you're going to finally get, and then let's just say, finally, the lift will happen where PlayStation will let go, will give up the stranglehold of Final Fantasy VII Remake 2. You know what I'm saying? And then they at this point, like, Xbox is like, shit, we winning because you ain't got to pay for it, because that's just going to be on Game Pass. That screams a Game Pass game. Square Enix is going to probably demand it because they're going to want more money. It is, man, when I first heard about it, and I was over here talking, I was telling about it back then when it was just getting started. I'm like, man, this is going to be huge. Well, Xbox don't have no games, and Xbox, they got to bring the third party. They got to bring this. They got to bring that. Man, just be patient. It's all going to come. And now it's here, and people are still trying to make excuses. Well, it's just not enough. Bullshit. There's so many people that I know. And see, this is another benefit too, to where Game Pass is changed the game, is because, okay, so 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't have bought Elden Ring. I would have been like, yeah, I'll wait till it's for a sale, and then by that time I'm playing something else and I probably would never play it. But because Game Pass gives me affordability, like I'm like, you know what? Go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and play this game that I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cop this Elden Ring. See what everybody's talking about. That's a spread of extra wealth that developers are getting just off of the service alone. So it's just, man, I mean, what Sarah Bond has brought to Xbox, not only is a testament of how hitting the gaming market proper. It also people should need to stop questioning if she's going to be the heir apparent of Phil Spencer and all this other stuff. She's already qualified once Phil Spencer decides to step down. She sat there and set a tone to where the industry is over here is making these moves to follow her work. Phil come up here with the idea, and she made it work. That's incredible. So again, this to me is it. Regardless of how good Sony's situation is going to be, it still ain't going to touch on Game Pass. You know, it's just like how people look at Hulu and Paramount and Discovery Plus and everything. When everybody talks about streaming services, what is usually the first name that they bring up? Netflix. If you're the first, you're the best.
Ooh, great point.
And that's it.
Great point.
Sony can hit hard, but it ain't. But people will, man, it ain't on that Game Pass. You ain't first. And then you also shortcutting. Nah, you ain't got that content. Hell, Netflix is over here. Like, I don't even watch TV like that. Netflix is gonna get me to watch, gonna make me watch some goddamn television because they're gonna make a Tekken series. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
No, yeah, that has been announced, by the way.
Yeah. Don sit there and sent it to me. He said, "Did you hear the news?" I said, "What news?" And he sent that to me.
And this is where I go and say they actually leave things behind, like the Cowboy Bebop show.
Yeah.
And they just threw it to the curb, and I'm like, dude, like this was like entertainment at its finest. You know what I mean?
I never seen it. The only thing I seen was the clip of
you could watch the
white
first
chick looking at
season and you'll be like,
the stuff
I
about the
need
black
more.
dude. That shit was funny as hell.
You need more, dude. Like I needed more, and they were like, "Oh, we canceled it," and I'm like, "You bastards!" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no. You know what I'm saying? It's gaming is it's what it's. See, I'm looking at the Troitsky. You know what I'm saying? He said, you know, I don't know what the conversation was, but he was basically saying, like, you know, look, it's like, you know, to each their own. It's all about enjoying gaming, right? Like that. Why is it that people are out here? See, this is another thing too. Why do people listen to people that always want to shit on your parade, always want to rain on your parade? Why is it that everybody that you could post a clip or something? Oh, that game sucks. Or I already beat that game. I beat that boss. Or I did this and I did that. Oh man, that game is trash. Okay, why are you even commenting if that game is that bad for you? Why are you even trying to give me the thought process of making me feel like my gaming skills or my choice in gaming is garbage because you feel like yours is better? When did it ever become that way? And how and why? And who are you, by the way? Like that to me, it's like
you.
Who is you? Who are you? Somebody get your mans. I don't even know who this person is. Right? Like that to me is where it's like when people are commenting, that means they want to be a part of the conversation because they must feel lonely or they must feel they don't have, like, so when people look over here they try as hard as they can to try to talk good about Gran Turismo 7, but then everybody's over here, they ain't saying shit. You don't see no Forza players over here talking shit. They just show clips. Man, I'm having a blast. And that pisses them off even more. Enjoy what you want, but man, there's no question that Game Pass is change the game. And I have tried to tell people this for a long damn time.
You, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm on this little
this
other
generation.
show. I'm on this little other show on Fridays, and I've been trying to tell the panel on that for years.
Yeah.
For years.
Man, like I've been telling them, man, this generation is going to be about features and services. That's what. And then what did we talk about tonight? Features and service.
The whole damn show, bro. The whole damn
show. The whole damn show. What have people been talking about the most for the whole year? If you really do a consensus, services and features. RDNA 3. Welfare gaming. It's bothering them. It's really bothering those people. It really is. And I'd rather pay full price for the game.
Yeah, until Spartacus comes out.
Support the devs, bro. Support
the devs. Yeah, but yet these people will still be showing pictures of them going to. And see, this is when you know that they're full of bullshit, because they don't even tear the stickers off of the games that they buy at Best Buy that has the used sale price on them. So are you really supporting the developers?
The developers don't get any money off of pre-owned.
They don't get any money. They don't get any money there. So why are you bargaining? So why are you over here talking about other bargain? Because at least they're getting 100% back, or if not, at least Xbox gave them the bag to where they can put their game on there.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, and you hear constantly developers after developers after developers keep constantly saying and telling you, it's benefiting my game. It's benefiting our business. Well. Yeah. So I mean, the people who made that bike game, I forget who Don was playing it all the time. It was a mountain bike game. Descenders. They just came out there and said, man, stop the capping. You stop the cap. Y'all bullshitting. Y'all lying. We good over here. We eating better than we ever ate. You know what I'm saying? So it just show. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. And even if Xbox wasn't first and PlayStation was first, by introducing something like this to the gaming space, then as Xbox pro-centric gamers, you have to give them respect and give it and say, damn, that PlayStation nailed this, and I don't see how Xbox can ever catch them again. It's kind of funny when you're seeing Xbox.
No,
bro. Like I'm just trying to be realistic here. So now, how are you looking at the situation and you're seeing Xbox numbers is constantly growing, PlayStation numbers is staying stagnant. Well, it's the chip shortage. Yeah, that's part too. Yeah, it's other things. Yeah, that's part of it as well. But could it be that the product that the other company is giving is a lot more? They're giving a lot more for their for those players' bucks than what the other company is doing.
Let's say this, K-Mega. If they really want to solve their problem, day-and-date exclusives on Spartacus.
That would be great. If they did that, Crispy, then the wheels is coming off on PlayStation, because they have been so adamant and so strong behind. No, we stand behind our games and how they're the best of this, the best of that.
We believe in. Come on, dude. Like Jim Ryan's good at talking at both sides of his mouth.
If there's one thing Sony has stood behind more than anything else that they stood behind, is about their exclusives and having them only stay on their console for however long, even though they got games going over to PC now.
They can continue to do that.
If they put PlayStation first party titles on Spartacus, yes, that would definitely get a big, huge boost. I will be on that. I'm gonna support it anyway, because that's just I'm a gamer.
I would as well.
But that means that the wheels fall off. Xbox must have did something so major to where they're like, "Fuck, we got to make this now for this avalanche rolls over us."
The wheels have already fallen off. Like, what's coming out for Xbox? Like, I feel like they're almost moving every game until next year because of Starfield, because they're so confident in it. And it's right before the holiday season. Like it's literally right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the 11th of November is like the perfect time for a game of this magnitude to come out.
Well,
and all of a sudden,
I don't
we're
think they're
seeing a
moving
lot of games.
I don't think they're
moving
moving games until next year because of that. Like when you look at
Yeah,
like what happened
yeah.
with Stalker, before everything that's going on in Europe happened, Stalker 2 was delayed anyway. I'm hoping for a Forza Motorsport announcement. Possibly September-ish or something like that. And Crispy, before you take off with this, I do got to shout out Sir X-Man real quick. Hitting up that super chat. Thank you, bro. And he put out a little information for people who play on PC. He's like, some Game Pass games on PC do VR. Flight Simulator is one. So there are VR games on Game Pass on PC. But I want to throw that out there because Sir X-Man, I'm not gonna lose him, man. I'm not gonna miss one, bro.
Are you sure?
I'm so far. I've been on top of it, man. I've been on top of it.
Should I continue?
Now go ahead.
No, go ahead. Interesting.
I said now. I said now. Go ahead. I was like, now go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you said no because I mean, and never a problem with being told no. Like no, you can't do this. No, you can't play this game that you are subscribed to because you're a cheap motherfucker. Right? That's what I hear half the time.
Welfare game.
And guess what? Some of these children that sit there and act like you have to support the dev and this and that. Well, guess what? They sold the damn thing to the Blockbuster I grew up the street from. So I don't want to hear it. Okay? And you go and take the game you bought. All right? Go take Gran Turismo 7 and go bring it to wherever you're going
Crispy's
to.
so filthy about
that
Wherever
GT
you're
catching
going
fire,
to.
bro.
Are you going to go to GameStop? Are you going to go to GameStop? How much they going to pay for it?
Pennies.
Everybody wants these games to be, in your hands and you can do what you want with it. But who's going to pay for it? What person do you know that's going to pay for that game when it's such trash at this point? What person? Explain that to me. And it's sad because I believe Horizon Forbidden West is a better game than all the glitches I saw. But nobody cares because Elden Ring's much better. And it has like almost zero glitches. I have seen none. Okay? FromSoft, I mean, hey, I'd say it's upper echelon of the gaming universe. They pulled out something so great that even people that hated their games love it. And
that's the point.
That's where you go and say, gaming is what you see, but you see enough people enjoying something, maybe then you get FOMO. Like me, I'm like, man, I'm probably going to hurt my controller, but this game looks a lot different from what I've seen from Software. And people are more than anybody I've ever seen. I see people that are just enjoying the game.
Oh shoot, Crispy about to get into Elden Ring. I can hear it. Yo, K-Mag, you hear it, right?
I'm over here. I'm fighting the second form of Godfrey.
If somebody bought it, I'd start playing it tomorrow. But it's one of those things that it's like, I know I'm gonna hate it at times. I know that. But the RPG elements that they've involved in that game are incredible. And I've seen so many clips from K-Mega that are like, I'm just gonna use my magic. I'm just going to use my magic.
I'm so close.
And you know what? That reminds me of an old game. You know what old game it reminds me of? Gauntlet Dark Legacy from the PS2. And keep in mind that I played it in the arcade. And it reminds me that I was a wizard. I was a wizard, okay?
Woo.
And I would absolutely trash everything around me all the time. Okay? And it's like it gives you that element of discovery. You know, Elden Ring gives you that element of discovery, and I think that's why people are so enamored with it. You know what I'm saying? You all of a sudden show up somewhere and you're like, wow. Well, everybody that at least I take seriously with Horizon Forbidden West feel like they are getting their hand holding.
True.
And that is the difference.
You're so disrespectful.
Okay, but that's the difference between the two games. And that's why people they feel that's it's like I put it this way. You imagine you all of a sudden out of nowhere walked up to the Grand Canyon. You understand what I'm saying? So you were searching for this crazy, all of a sudden you just walked up to the Grand Canyon and you're like, wow, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? This is something I will never experience ever. And I had no clue it was here. You know what I'm saying? You just had no clue. And I feel like there's so many like people I respect and I know like they wouldn't be playing this game just for, you know, likes and everything else. They're just playing it and they just love it. And I'm like, I'm kind of suffering a little FOMO. I'm like, man, but also I agree with K Mega after going back into Cyberpunk. Man, that game that has layers upon layers.
Dude, it's
You know what I'm
such
saying?
a good world. It's such a fun world to be in.
And I'm so glad I waited. You know what I'm saying? Because I was having so many issues with it. I was like, you know, I went back in and I found my save, which was like almost like deleted, I think, by the auto saves. I think my girlfriend or her son played it or something, and I was like, "Oh shit, is this not here anymore?" Because I know it's farther than this. And then I went back in and I found it, and I was like, "Man, looks so much better. The game plays so much better. I'm so glad I waited." So it's like one of those things. Like it's unfortunate that we're in this realm of like, yeah, there's games out there that really are great, but they're kind of, you know, thrown out. That's why I give, you know, Horizon Forbidden West the benefit of the doubt. And I say, I think, you know, halfway through the year, I think people are going to be really talking about it more. You know what I mean? Because they're going to fix it. You know, so I give games, especially in this pandemic and everything else, you got to give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. But you know, you can't talk trash for Halo Infinite coming out the way it did and then go and say, well, when's the last time you seen anything about Last of Us factions? I mean, multiplayer and single player are two different things. I don't think many people had a huge complaint about the single player of Halo Infinite. I'm just saying.
No, they're
You know,
haters didn't play.
keep that same
energy.
Whoa, boy! That was a slow one. Yep,
slow burn.
About that time.
Slow burn.
About that time.
Cooking it. But
burn.
But guys, yeah, that's pretty much it for now, man. We got through all the topics on the title screen. I do have to go to work tomorrow morning, so after this, I will be getting ready to go to bed and whatnot. Man, I gotta say, it was an absolutely fun show. Yo, shout out to Predator, who was here in the beginning, but he had a work call. He had to take an important work call. So shout out to him. You know, you can find him on OnlyFans. If you don't know the name of his OnlyFans, you just have to ask Dark Optimus on Twitter. If you tweet him about OnlyFans and Predator's name on OnlyFans, he will definitely let you know. So definitely tweet him publicly, not a DM, just publicly tweet him about OnlyFans and Predator, and you'll get your answer. But dude, I had an absolute blast, and it's funny we were talking about subscriptions and features tonight. It took up the whole show, but I think there was a lot of information there, and of course, a lot of opinions, and a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun.
There was only one problem, Bot.
What's that?
You used hypothesis too
Hypothesis.
much.
I used it like twice. That's too much.
Yeah, it's way too much because it's scientific, and that's like
I'm about to make a hypothesis. See, now I messed up. You know what? I'm out of here. I'm out of here, buddy, guys. Like a 40-year-old with a comb over. It is time to get those plugs in. And Crispy, what do you got for us tonight, bro?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Shout out to the chat. Thank y'all. I mean, some of y'all were a little crazy with it.
Real quick, shout out to Troyski, man. I have not seen you here in a while. It is good to see you, Troy. Troyski, man. Hopefully you are here next week as well. Dude, he's a long time supporter of the show.
But what I was saying is some of you acted purposely dumb. Pretty funny, but you better do your research if you don't understand where all three of us are coming from. I'm sure Pred would probably back us up as well. So at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28 Xbox Live. Find me tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Breakfast with Boom. We got Retro Renegade, 7 p.m. Tuesday night. And of course, you can find me back here on the next podcast, 8 p.m. prime time Thursday.
Oh, yeah. You got to love that prime time, man. Absolutely love this time slot. And dude, spending every Thursday here with the panel, it is great. Crispy, like I said, you are never afraid to share your opinion, man. You always keep that same energy, bro.
Cheers, bro. Cheers.
On that note, we got to go over to my brother who has been here from the beginning. And how can you tell when he streams games? He's got a face cam on. You can tell he pulled out all his hair already because he has been here from the beginning. It is K Mega. K Mega, you got a show coming up tomorrow. We got to know about. Maybe you might tease people with some topics or whatnot. But what's going on with you, bro?
Oh man, we're about to hold on for a second. My wife is going to kiss me goodnight to go to bed. So my wife still loves me. Do you?
Good night, Mrs. Mega.
Bot said good night, Mrs. Mega. All right. She said good night, Bot. I'm right here. I'm standing at the door of the end of the game. I'm about to fight the Elden Beast. And I can't be more proud of myself for...
That shit might take 3 days like that lady.
No. Ain't nothing going to be as hard as that chick, that Scarlet Ride Valkyrie chick. I'm telling you, even though I was having some problems with this damn, with the Kurgi Beastman for a minute there, I still beat him within a couple of hours.
Yobi wants you to save him a slot for tomorrow's show, yeah.
Oh, come on in, brother. No doubt. And shout out to him because I seen that 108 came up there and visited him out there in Florida. That was good shit. But anyway, the GRG podcast tomorrow. Come on through, Yobi. You know what I'm saying? You're always welcome. You know what I'm saying? We have a good time. We got stuff to talk about. Got a couple other things that we'll be discussing other than the few topics that we had tonight. But Game Pass will definitely be one of them. So I definitely hope you guys will come. I will return fight night. I apologize about that. It wasn't because I got my ass kicked badly the week before. It was because I could that chick in this Elden Ring. She was making me question my gaming. She was beating me so bad and so much. I went offline.
I don't know that timing, bro. I don't know that timing. I don't know if people are going to accept your.
Whatever the case may be. No, I don't quit. But see, that was holding all my energy and everything I had. I was in a mode to where I was like, man, should I even keep gaming? Because she kept, I mean, she beat me 3 days in 3 days. Now I took some time off and moved around trying to find other ways to figure out how to beat her. And I had like 10 those little tiers where you could do the rebirth thing and change. I changed 7, 8 times different builds to try to beat her still. So I went back to the original recipe and just figured it out. But man, I tell you, she questioned me about my game, and I was like, maybe I'm just too old for this shit because this is horrible. But all right, man. But thank you guys. I hope you guys will come and check out the GRG podcast tomorrow. Fight night will come back. We'll be back Sunday night, so please come through if you want to play some fighters. Other than that, man, yeah, Devin the Gamer, we'll do that next week. We were supposed to do it this week. Couldn't, but we'll definitely do that. I'll get back into doing some stuff, and I'll give my impressions about Elden Ring after I beat this bitch tonight, because tonight is the night. I'm gonna end it. So
it's happening.
Thank you guys. It's happening. It's happening. I'm beating this bitch tonight.
Oh shit!
I'm beating it. I'm standing right here at the door, ready to go in.
Awesome, bro. Awesome, yo. And again. Shout out to the chat, seeing all these familiar names, new names, whatnot, and all you guys having fun, joking around, sharing your opinions, stuff like that. That means so much to me. Thank you guys for all the support with the channel and with this show. If you haven't done it yet, definitely consider joining. I don't have a tier system when it comes to being a member of this. It's just one. I guess one tier. Is that a tier system if it's only one tier? That's just what it is.
It's a magical system. It's a Gamepass system.
Join the magical system if you want to support the channel even further. But it's been an absolute blast, guys. We will be here next Thursday for the next podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
Prime time.
I won't stream it, Iceman, but I will definitely I'm recording it right now. So I will have it up and I'll put it on the channel of me beating the last 3 bosses. So
yeah, Iceman wants all that Elden Ring content. He wants to see everybody playing that, by the
way. No doubt.
Yeah. Later, everybody.
Peace.
Later.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, Spartan 117. And you're tuned in to Next Podcast. Now, wake me when you need me.